Amigos, ¿cómo están? Buenos días, bienvenidos a un video más de Polaris Controls. El día de hoy estamos con Scott Robbins de LEA Professional. Hello to all of our dealers. We're here for another video of products, excellent solutions from LEA Professional. And we're here joined by Scott Robbins. Scott, how are you?
I'm doing great. Glad to be here.
We're really happy to see what you are going to show us today.
Okay. Thank you for organizing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with just a short PowerPoint presentation just to talk about some of our core features in case some of you have not heard about that before. And then from there, we'll move on to a short demo and we'll see how it goes.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so I'm going to share my screen. So do have some PowerPoint slides. I'm going to try my best not to be boring, and I promise I will not spend too much time on PowerPoint. So first of all, thank you, PolarisControls. They're a great partner and our rep throughout the region. They are all very technical and do a great job supporting our brand and supporting our customers. So we appreciate them and organizing this for us. So just to let you know a little bit about who we are. So our company was founded by Blake Augsburger. He's the person in the picture, kind of in that checkered shirt. Our background, we came from another well-known amplifier company called Crown Audio. That's where our engineers came from after Harman closed the Crown facility here in Northern Indiana, where we're based. Well, we came from Crown. We're not trying to be Crown. We really tried to bring a product to market that nobody had ever seen before, technology that had not been utilized in a way that makes our product more useful for an integrator and solves more problems. So we really do have a technologically advanced product, and that's really how we see ourselves, is more of a technology company, not just an amplifier company. As a matter of fact, when you look at our product, yes, at the core, it is a great amplifier. It's reliable. It does what amplifiers are supposed to do. It makes little signals bigger. It does it with impeccable sound integrity. But what makes us special is the technology that comes within it and around it. And really, that is what I want to focus on for the next few minutes, because that's really what differentiates LEA from the rest of the pack. So first off, the amplifier is designed to drive any kind of load. Now, I'll cover the ranges of the product line just so everybody is aware. We do have some new products. Connect Series 34, 64, and 124 are our half rack form factors. And then our full rack space amps start at 80 watts per channel, 4 and 8, 160 watts per channel, 4 and 8, 350, 2 and 4 channels, 700 watts, 2 and 4 channels. And then our big power amp, which is a 2 rack space, 1504. They are really designed for installation and integration. When we designed the product, we really tried to make the amp a chameleon. It can adapt to different use cases and different environments. It can drive any kind of load out of the box, whether it be a distributed 70-volt line or a directly coupled speaker. It doesn't care. It's really made to drive a wide array of applications, whether it be a cinema or a house of worship or a performing arts center or a restaurant and bar or a coffee shop, and everything, or a stadium, everything in between. And we have all those kinds of projects as part of our portfolio. In addition, we have something unique called Smart Power Bridge. So I think most people are familiar with traditional bridging, where you take a 2-channel amp, you physically mechanically combine those channels. Now you have a 1-channel amp, but the benefit is you get double power out. That's a very traditional way to do bridging. We have a different idea on that called Smart Power Bridge. What Smart Power Bridge does is it allows you to take any one channel of our product and put it in Smart Power Bridge mode, and you'll get double power out of that channel, but you did not have to sacrifice any of the other channels. So if you had a let's say you had a restaurant application and the dining area was being powered by 70-volt distributed speakers throughout the dining area. And then maybe you had a left and right speaker over the bar area that was directly coupled for more foreground music, more dynamic range in that area. And then maybe a subwoofer over in the corner that's augmenting the low frequency in that entire space. Well, one of our 4-channel amps can do all that. But let's say that the customer's use case changes, they decide they want more low frequency, more bass, more subwoofer inside that space. And now suddenly you need more power to drive that loudspeaker. You just simply engage smart power bridge, and now you have double power out, and you didn't have to sacrifice any of those other zones in that restaurant. So it really is a chameleon. It can adapt, and it helps save money. When you use this feature, you didn't have to go out and buy another amplifier. And that feature is simply made possible due to headroom. We have so much headroom in every single output stage and in the power supply, we're able to create more power. We're not power sharing, where we're stealing power and redistributing it elsewhere. We're generating more power inside the box. Another thing to point out too, which I think is particularly important, is the amplifiers are stable at a lot of different AC line voltage conditions. So the amplifier can run anywhere from 85 volts all the way up to 277 volts, 50 or 60 hertz. And if you have brownouts or power surges or things like that with the AC, the amplifier can adapt to that, adjust to it. As a matter of fact, if the amplifier switches between any of these, or if you do get a brownout and you see a dip in the AC line voltage, the amp can adjust to that. The power supply is very advanced, and you will not even notice it in the content of the audible signal that's coming out of the amplifier. So it's a very nice feature. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing for a minute, because I want to show you what the amplifiers look like in software. So I'm going to just explain my demo setup. So on my desk, I have a Connect Series 352. I also have one of our new half racks. That amplifier is connected on the network here at LEA headquarters. I'm connected on the network with my laptop. And so once you're connected on a network or directly to the amp via its own internal hotspot, once you're connected in one of those ways, you just simply type in the IP address in your browser, and you can then connect to the amp. So let me go back to sharing, and I'll bring up the user interface so you can see what that looks like. Okay, so let me just escape out of this. So now what you see in this, I have 2 browser windows open, and what you see in this left pane, where I have JAWS, MEG, PIC 124D. These are what the amplifiers look like in software. The amplifier that I just pointed out that's sitting on my desk is called JAWS, and that is a Connect Series 352, so 350 watt by 2-channel amp. Once you connect to one of the amps by typing in its IP address in your browser, they will all discover each other. Any amps that are on the same network are discoverable, and that's what you see here. These are all the amps that are online at LEA headquarters today. It's something that varies every day. But for the purpose of this demo, I'll draw your attention here to JAWS. So I just clicked on it. We have a 2-channel amp, channel 1, channel 2. I have an output that I've named back patio. So let's say that's in a restaurant or a home. Whatever the case may be, you can label these outputs and you can change the name of the amp as you see fit to make it make sense for your installation. And then once you click into the amplifier, it opens up these icons across the top here. And this is how you gain access to the various features and controls inside the amp. So you can manipulate the signal, you can change the volume up and down, which I'm doing here. You have the ability to do routing, and I'm happy to say you very soon with the new firmware update, you'll have the ability to do input mixing as well. So you can route your sources and mix your sources to any channel as you see fit. There's a secondary input that's assignable, and that gives you some override modes for like a paging, a ducker, or a redundant backup should you need that. This next icon over is where you tell the amplifier what kind of load you want it to drive. So as I mentioned, the amps are a chameleon. They can drive a lot wider range of different kinds of loads. So let's say I want channel 1 to be driving a 70-volt distributed line, let's say in that restaurant example that I mentioned earlier. And then channel 2 is driving a directly coupled speaker. Let's say that's a subwoofer that's augmenting the low frequency in that restaurant space. So every channel is independent of each other, and they can drive any kind of load. Now, let's say, just as I mentioned in my example previously, let's say that channel 2 is driving that sub. You need more power. The customer side decides, I need more low frequencies. Let's put a bigger subwoofer in my restaurant or my home. Then you simply click channel 2 smart power bridge, and now I have double power out of this channel to drive that subwoofer, and I still have 85%. I've only lost 1 dB of power in this remaining channel. So now the amplifier is still a 2-channel amp, but I didn't have to make it a 1-channel amp to get double power out. That is really the advantage of smart power bridge, and it's an extremely popular feature, well used by many of our integrators. There is a signal generator on board, so if you want to send pink noise, white noise, or a steady tone in the amp just to do basic testing, just a handy tool for integrators. And then you get into the DSP section of the amplifier. We have 96 kilohertz processing throughout, all low latency, easy to use filters. So you have your crossovers, your 8 bands of parametric EQ per channel, speaker limiters. All of that is contained here. Most people are using our DSP for speaker tunings, and we have an extensive speaker tuning library. They're free downloads from our website. It's another thing that differentiates LEA. We have more than 35 different manufacturers, and I think over 3,500 different models. And so you simply import the tuning profile that you need, and within seconds, you can load that into the amp, and now it's set up to drive that speaker the way it's supposed to. As I mentioned, 8 bands of parametric EQ per channel. There's limiters, both RMS and peak limiters. We do have a very handy limiter calculator on our website, by the way, so I'd recommend using that if you ever need help calculating your limiter settings. And then finally, at the end of the signal chain, we have a load monitor. And there's 2 types of load monitors. One is uses pilot tone detection, 24/7 active load monitoring. So if you're installing our amps in a critical sort of life safety application where you need to validate 24/7 that all the speakers and zones are in good working order, you can use a pilot tone detector for that. Or if not, we have a more rudimentary load monitor that's just using the program content, and we have the ability to measure the impedance at the output of the amp at all times. And if you turn this on, there is no speaker connected to my amplifier right now. And so right now I'm trying to measure a load that's not there, and you can see it's telling me you're above the limit. There is an open or above your ohm setting that you created. When you have that condition, you can see the emoji face on this panel here on this amplifier has turned into a frowny face. That's the amplifier's way of communicating to you. We had to give the amplifier a voice that can translate in any language. And we thought, well, emoji is a good way to do that. So the amplifier is telling us that there's an event that's occurring of some kind. In this case, I have a load issue. I have an open load. There's no speaker connected to me. I'm fine, but that doesn't seem right. So that's the amp's way of telling you that it's aware of its surroundings. And so this is information. When that happens, there's an event log that captures when that happened. And so you have, as an integrator, information in case you need to troubleshoot that installation of what might have gone wrong. So let me turn this off, and now you can see the amplifier is now gone back to happy face. There's no events. The other face that you might see is a shouting face like this here. That's an amp that's probably in for service. And that amp that's the amp's way of saying, I do have a problem. That's a fault condition. There's about 50 different fault conditions that we measure inside the amplifier. So just an amplifier's voice way to communicate. Now with that, I would like to take a minute to show you our cloud platform. So it's a free service. If you don't use the two-way remote control capabilities of the amplifier, that's no problem. You're not paying for it. But if you do use it, you're going to find it's a very handy feature to have and very powerful feature. So as I mentioned, our cloud platform is free. In this other browser window, I'm going to go to my cloud account. You just go to leaprofessional.cloud and you enter an email address and a password, and that's all it takes. You'll have your cloud account will be created. Now you can see in this left pane, instead of amplifiers in the left pane, I have venues. So as you make new installations at residences or commercial establishments, you can add those venues into your cloud account. It's very easy to do. And then within seconds, you can onboard amps that are installed at that venue into your cloud account. So one nice thing about our cloud account, your cloud account, is when you first log in, it gives you a quick dashboard view, shows you how many venues you have created, how many amps are installed in those venues, and if there's anybody that's offline or if you have any faults or events. So we've just recently added another voice to the amplifier. As I mentioned, we have a smart amp, so it needs to communicate to you. So if you click into one of these venues, you can add venue notifications. So you add a cell phone, a mobile number, or a email address, and then you can create any number of notifications from non-critical to critical events. If you want to know if the amp's clipping, you can know that. If you want to know if there's an event or a fault that's occurred, when that happens, the amplifier will automatically send you an email and let you know that, hey, there's something going wrong at this venue, Hammerhead Community School Corporation, and you should go and, maybe you need to notify the owner and set up a service call, or, log into your cloud account and see what's going on. So all of that information is here. And in addition, just like I showed you when I was locally connected to the amplifier, you have full two-way communication. This is not a cloud account where you can just see if something's online or not. You can see if the amplifier is in working order or not. You have full two-way communication back and forth. So if I lower the volume here in my cloud account, almost immediately it's lowered at the local venue. And then if I raise the volume at the local venue, immediately it pushes back to the cloud. So this data is constantly moving back and forth. We have thousands of venues now that integrators have loaded into their cloud account, and it makes us very happy because people are using this tool to support their customers, and it's a valuable tool coming back. And again, it's free to you. If you are an integrator that likes to sell services contracts or maintenance agreements, then this is a good thing that you can add as a line item onto that contract to sort of endear your customer and make your contract even more valuable to the customer. So that is a quick snapshot of what our user interface looks like and what our cloud platform looks like. I would like to end by saying we have a 5-year warranty with a 90-day advanced replacement guarantee. If something fails within the first 90 days after turn on, that's also a very popular feature. So thank you very much for your time and letting me to go through that. If you have any questions, you can certainly contact our rep, PolarisControls, or myself. And Juan Pablo, thank you again for allowing me to speak to you.
Really appreciate it, Scott. Thanks for joining us and this new clip. So to all of our dealers, just be in tune for some new products coming out from LEA, and be aware of new videos that we're going to be launching. Thank you very much, Scott.
Thank you.
Bye.